Hi, everyone, and welcome to Around the Product Development, our weekly show where we, in 25 minutes, feature lively discussions on hot topics in the digital product creation. And we're talking anything from monetization to innovation, and we try to cover all of this in 25 minutes. And when we're really slow, we make it in 26 minutes, which is still quite fast, I think. It's no fluff, just actionable insights from digital product practitioners who are most of the time also all member of the Agile Product Builders community, which is called the APBC. And about this APBC, it's a Slack community powered by Boldare, who are digital product creators and consultants. And this week, we will talk about agility as a growth factor with our guest, Mikko Virtanen, if I say it correctly, and I hope it's good, who has more than 20 years experience in leading IT development, business, and growth. And he's using all that experience from these 20 years for transforming how companies operate, for getting new levels of results, what they have actually never seen before. Quite ambitious. And together with the founders of the growing Agile Day team, he is on a mission to change how organizations work. And he tries to accelerate world's transition to a human and future fit organizations. And when we talk about Agile, just one disclaimer, we're not talking about Agile in the software sense, but I'm sure Mikko has to share something about that as well. Mikko, welcome to the talk.
Thanks, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here. And I feel lucky that I was traveling in Poland a couple of weeks ago and met these great bold people in Cleavage who dare to do things differently. And today I'm here with you in their webinar. So happy to be here.
Sounds very cool. Thank you to have you. And Mikko, maybe just to get started, maybe you can share a little bit about yourself, who you are, what Agile Day is basically, and well, I said already 20 years of experience. That's quite a lot. So I'm always curious, how did you come where you are at the moment? So yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, Mikko Virtanen is my name. And how did I come to where I am today? It's a long story, but you said it's 25 minutes, so I need to keep it short. Sure. But I have a long history. Yeah, I take my time, but I have a long history in IT services. So I've been running this kind of services, businesses, companies for some 15, 20 years in all kind of roles. So leading teams, leading projects, doing a lot of sales also myself and leading sales team. And sales has always been some kind of passion for me. But what's even more close to my heart has always been the way to lead the company, if I call it like the management paradigms or cultures or ways of leading the organization. That has been for me always something that I have been thinking about and testing and learning and practicing and so on. Even from the early days when I was in an army, in military in Finland, 11 months there, learned one perspective of leadership, and then having like a more introvert background as an engineer, coming to a leadership position and so on. So doing those things a lot and then learning a lot of things, testing things about how to lead companies, teams differently. And now where I'm at the moment, we are building a product in a SaaS company. But why I'm so excited about building this product is that this product has really a soul about how the companies operate and what kind of leadership is being used in the company. So that's what we do. The product itself, it's an operating platform for modern, future-oriented, how to say, really well-managed software development service companies. The name of the product and company is Agile Day.
Mm-hmm. I mentioned already that the term human and future fit organizations, right? It's something that I think you're working towards too. What do we have to think about when we say human and future fit organizations? Let's say, right, I'm just a regular employee at a company. What should I imagine under human and future fit? What does it look like?
I think it starts even on the core beliefs that what do we think about running a company or what do we think about running a business? It's like just kind of economic equation. We lead like a machine or a factory, or do we think it's about the people and we want to make a place where the people can be the best version of themselves and the whole company can be as great as the teams and individuals in there. So it's about this thinking. And what I have learned is that when we really find a way to get all those people to flourish and be the best version of themselves together with all the great colleagues, then actually amazing business results will follow. So the things we typically expect to achieve like growth, profitabilities and high margins and things like that, they actually come when you dare to really make things people-centric, and the people are the the greatest assets, they are the only assets you actually have in services business. So what it means kind of is about running this business in a human-centric, people-centric manner and making it a place where the people can be the best version of themselves with the right kind of, how to say, motivation. What they want to do is like having a purpose of something which is meaningful for them, having a mastery on things they do, and have the needed autonomy to drive the things towards something that is meaningful for them. And then as a consequence, surprisingly, the amazing business results can follow for the company.
Yeah, and I assume all these things to achieve, they're probably not that easy for companies, right? Or somehow they get lost, or maybe companies are not aware of them. That's also where your proposition is, I think, a bit. Do you know why that is? Why it's so difficult for many companies to be human-centric, future fit?
It's honestly difficult. So we have one journey where we practice this and learn this in a laboratory, and this is my own perspective on this. I think the reason why it's so difficult or demanding is because of the history and the culture around us. I mean, what were taught to us in the universities in the last century, 90s, were all about this management with KPIs and things like that, where you create structures and try to control the business and follow all the things, and that was like the metaphor for leading companies. So the universities, the schools have been teaching us to do things actually not in a such human-centric way. And then, of course, the people we see as leaders around us, who are maybe the X generation from the 60s, 70s, they kind of maybe behave like that. So it comes with the culture, it comes with the tradition. It's so also hard to break the norms. It's hard to dare to do things differently, and also when the people around you and the old structures might be kind of even fighting against your own beliefs. So I think this whole environment makes this difficult and demanding. Then of course it's different in different companies and different countries. So smaller companies by nature typically can be more agile, more people-centric. The larger companies typically can be more hierarchic, more siloed, more bureaucratic typically. But then, of course, there is differences. So in both directions, and of course, the cultures and countries are also different. So everything is different in all the countries. So, but it's an interesting thing overall, and more. I see this kind of companies who catch this people-centric mode like coming up every day in all the countries. So I think this is a mega trend. The world is shifting, moving from the old mode of operation, command control, if I call it like that, towards the future of more people-centric, transparent mode of operation.
You mentioned already the cultural difference, right, in different countries. How does that look like from your experience, maybe? Because I would be very curious about that. Is there a very concrete thing that you can say some countries are a bit further in that way than others? Is it more like a continental thing, or how does that look like?
And I give a disclaimer, this is not black and white. But if I generalize it a bit, so I come from Finland, I've been living in Sweden, I know Nordics really well. So Nordics are a very people-centric, democratic kind of community and culture in general. So I see a lot of these kind of things already going on and have been here for a while. All the successful companies, digital agencies, they are more or less people-centric in Nordics. But then when I go southern Europe, I mean, there is different cultural background. When I go to Poland, for example, the Catholic Church and communism, there is a certain background. Of course, it has an impact on what kind of cultures the companies have. But then what I see there are many young international CEOs who are driving this change and changing the companies towards this more people-centric. Then your country, I haven't been in Netherlands too much, but there is this, is it corporate rebels what is it called, movement or association that's originating from Netherlands, and you have this Burzorg and other companies there who are the greatest examples of that. So I would assume your country is really far there. But then if I go to Asia, India, of course, you know what is the cultural background there. So they are quite far, I would say, from this kind of thinking. And this kind of experience I have with different countries so far. But it's like an exploration journey for me, since I have privilege and chance to meet with companies in all these countries like every day, and I can see and get to see a lot of interesting things all the time.
I always try to be modest, but I think you're right in the countries that you named, especially in the Netherlands. Of course, it's a nice compliment, and I rarely brag about it or share about it, but I think it's kind of true, actually, right? That there are many examples in the Netherlands, at least, to show, perhaps also because it's a very small country and it's easier to get it implemented. Who knows? Not burning my fingers on that today. Hey, so maybe to go back to the topic of this talk, right? We're talking about agility as a growth factor. I think that's something that's super interesting for everyone, because everyone wants to grow. All the companies, they are searching for growth, right? It doesn't matter if it's financial or any other way, it can be many different ways. So I mentioned in the beginning, we're not talking about agility in the software sense, right? If I'm correct, maybe you can share your understanding of the term agility and also connect it to company growth. So how does that work?
Yeah, if I say word agile on the street and ask what is your interpretation, I think most of the people think it's about Scrum and SAFe and the product development.
Exactly.
So that's
these days,
the people think. But of course, then if I take agility, it can mean almost anything, everything. So in our context, what we mean with that, where company name is Agile Day, it's about the business agility of a company. And what we have, maybe if I draw you something here, since I love drawing.
Sure, so go ahead.
What we have learned here is that if a company is like, how to say, hierarchic, this is just illustrating a hierarchic company. So it's like this. So there is like the leaders, and then there are the people. So if you are an organization like this, you are siloed, you are quite bureaucratic, there's a lot of rules. Typically these leaders, they more exercise a command control leadership and so on. So typically this kind of company is not too agile or adaptive. And what's happening now around us is that, we are living in this VUCA world, which is like volatile, a lot of uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. And if you are like rigid like this, if you are not agile and adaptive, you will not succeed. I mean, this environment is making it so difficult. What's also making this even more difficult is that if you look at generations I already mentioned, like from the I'm still belong to this from the 70s, but then we have the 80s, 90s, the millennials and so on. So if we lead these people, the younger generation, in the models that we used to have 40, 50 years ago, I think we are in deep trouble. I mean, they will leave our company. So eventually the business agility is to change this kind of mode of operations to something different. What we did, I mentioned to you that we had a journey. So we were like operating a little bit like this. We had 200 people there. Then we started to change this. What was our mission? We created like a Northlight, was that instead of running like this, we wanted to create a network of teams like this. Organic, very adaptive, very agile. It's like a bird flock, like, it's changing, it's adapting to the situation all the time. This is very rigid. So whatever happens in the world outside us, if the organization is like this, where the people are here, and this is with a lot of transparency, with a lot of cooperation, and with a lot of autonomy for all these kind of teams. So whatever happens around us, whatever the customers are still the most important thing we have. When customers have a new need or something, this can act very fast. So what we mean with business agility is that we create more an organization like this, like a network of teams and individuals who can adapt to changes all the time and serve the clients and everything in a good way. But most importantly, making it a place where the people enjoy working and can make a meaningful kind of a role for themselves as part of this whole network.
Human-centric, right? So as well, again, then we come back to that part again. Maybe just to understand, and then the follow-up for me would be, do you think technology can help people work in that way? Is it possible to create more agility by using software, for example, or connect the organization rather than disconnected by using software. Especially, I think these days people are getting more critical about everything that happens online versus offline, right? So curious about that.
I love this question. So it's spot on to
Yeah.
me now when we are building a platform. So do I believe that a tool can change a company? No, I don't believe that the tool alone can change a company. Even whatever tool I bring, if I bring it to a person who don't believe in the same things that I believe, who is not able to leave this more old school heroic command control leadership mode of operation behind, it will not change the company culture, whatever a tool I bring, but it can help. It can help definitely. So the tool, if I call it the tool platform we are building, is highly opinionated to this model I explained. So when we find companies and people who, the managers especially, who believe on the same things and understand that this is the secret sauce for success, it can truly accelerate their journey. So a tool technology can definitely enable companies to be more people-centric, more transparent, higher autonomy, definitely. So that it can do.
Maybe if we look at your tool, I think what elements do help in that sense? Is it like transparency? Is it that people can find information more freely, or how does it actually help? So how does it look in practice in the tool?
So our tool, it's like an operating platform. It's the core system for a company. So we cover the most essential things for consultancy companies. I mean, the most essential things, what they do is basically it's the people, their skills, their desires, certifications. Then we need to manage allocations, that we have right kind of work for the people, and we have a high utilization billing ratio. We have a pipeline. We do sales in an efficient manner, and so on. We have CVs and everything. So it's about these kind of core elements, because whatever I say, the business dynamics will not change. If we don't make margins, if we don't have high billing ratio, we don't have a company. So even if I speak about, if I call it like soft things about people-centric, we have the hard KPIs, but we need to find a way where we enable the companies to operate in a people-centric way so that they can achieve the KPIs they want to achieve. So what is our platform doing? It's covering all these essential things, but it's covering these with a transparency and autonomy, basically meaning that all the people, I'm underlining, all the people in the whole company can have access to all this data. They can see what's cooking in sales, they can see their colleagues' skills, they can see the allocations, and they can raise their hand and influence the decisions that are being done in a company. So with transparency, we can achieve a higher degree of trust, and we can achieve a higher degree of autonomy. And then the whole engine becomes more effective, actually achieving these higher growth numbers, higher utilization numbers, but achieving these with more collaborative approach where people can see and influence things.
That was exactly what I was going to ask as a follow-up question, right? So you mentioned earlier already that the growth can even accelerate by doing so, but you mentioned how. So the transparency and all these factors help. Have you seen that in practice as companies as well already work like this? Probably yes. And then maybe also, are there downsides of more agility maybe as well in a company, or is it only upsides?
That's a good question. So my own experience was that when we transformed our own operations in consultancy before we had this product company, in 4 years we were able to grow this number of 200 to 700. So and it was profitable growth and like low attrition. People enjoyed NPS surveys. They gave good results. So that was one learning. Then of course, if I look the companies in the different countries, I think the stars who are growing despite this industry has been in trouble recently. The companies who are growing are more like this because they can adapt more easily into the situation. They are more effective. They are not so siloed, no strict rules. They more collaboratively do things. They can capture the possibilities better because everyone are driving the joint mission forward. And what also is typical is that they are able to sell more like solutions and carry the responsibilities when there is more transparency and cooperation and autonomy and responsibility taking in the organization. So the ones who are now succeeding better, I think there is some kind of correlation to this type of mode of operation.
Because they're better equipped for how the world changes in that sense, right? Because they can move faster, they are better equipped, they know what's happening, information is flowing freely. So probably if something happens, the whole organization senses it earlier, like the bird flock you mentioned earlier a bit, right?
Yeah, I think it's actually the point when the industry turns down. I think that's an interesting point of time when your bench is increasing, your pipeline is going down, and so on. That happens for all the companies. So the company that is not transparent, what they typically do, it's just the leaders, managers who try to resolve the situation. Then typically they don't even want to tell the truth. They paint the truth better than it is, and then eventually
again.
Eventually people will see that this was not good. But then the companies who are more like people-centric, transparent, instead of the managers having sleepless nights to try to resolve it, they resolve the situation together. They tell to everyone, now we don't have such a good future ahead of us. We need to work together harder to make this as good as we can. So they resolve the situation collaboratively, instead not just the managers trying to solve it, which is more like the old way of doing it.
Mikko, we're nearing the end of our talk, actually. We have a few more minutes left. I want to touch two more questions. Basically, the first one is, let's say that I am a listener and that I think, hey, this is something I really want. I want my organization to become a bit more agile in this sense, right? To be more movable, flexible, adapted to this VUCA world we're talking about. What are the steps that I take? Do I get a tool first? Do I talk to someone? How does that look in your experience?
Yeah, of course you can contact us and we can share your learnings, and of course we can show the tool also. It explains what we believe in, so that can bring those ideas to reality. So we are there. Then if you are like readers, there are some books also. Like Frederic Laloux, Reinventing Organization is one great book. Then the Corporate Rebels guys, they have written a couple of books themselves from the mission. So some of these books, if you're a reader, but you can always contact us and we can have a conversation and we can discuss about how things are in your company, and we can share our learnings, and let's see what we can find together.
And maybe curious, how was your journey? Was it the same way? Was it reading, or how did you discover that this was a better way to organize your company? Let's say it like that, because you mentioned before the 200 people company that grew. So what was your epiphany maybe at that time?
Actually, it was the other way around. We didn't start with the books. So we started with this challenge that how do we make something like this happen? And it was me and our co-CEO, my co-CEO Jaakko, who just spent some time together and started to think that what do we personally truly believe in when it comes to leading organizations, companies. So we invented this teams of transparency and more with our own beliefs. Then when we started to operate like that, then we found the books. And of course, the feeling when you read something which is confirming your assumptions, that's of course nice. You fall in love with the book immediately.
It was more like that because you figured it. You figured it yourself. So then it's nice if someone else has figured it already as well, right?
Yeah. But this was our story. So in a way, we didn't take it from books. We took it because we truly believed on what we did.
Okay, very nice. Mikko, this was our time already. One more question. Resources, you said already, are some books that people can read, right? Frederic Laloux, for example, Corporate Rebels as well, you mentioned. If they want to contact you, how can people best find you? Is it LinkedIn? Is it your website? How do they find Agile Day, or just Google you?
Yeah, and one thing is please follow us in LinkedIn. If you follow our company, we are sharing a lot of these kind of insights all the time from our journey and our learnings, and we are writing different kind of ebooks like how you operate sales in a collaborative, transparent team of teams model. This is one of our ebooks. So definitely follow us on LinkedIn. You can connect me in LinkedIn, and then of course on our webpage there are links for booking a meeting like directly from Calendly. So we are here for you.
Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing. As well, in the resources in Zoom, you can find the website from Agile. They'll find all the information. So that's really awesome. Mikko, thank you so much for sharing. On a personal level, I deeply share your worldview about how organizations should run. So that's very nice to meet someone who has the same idea. And I also always feel we're doing some good work for the future as well, which is also nice, right? It's not only for now, but it's for the organizations of the future. So thank you so much for taking part in that as well.
Yeah, thanks, Mac. I noticed in your LinkedIn profile that you had some background with holocracy and everything, so you understand what I'm talking about. So, and good luck with the EM football. So I wish you all the best. Orange has always been my favorite team. So
very nice, very nice, Mikko. Thank you so much for joining again, and for the audience, one more time, thank you all for joining. It was amazing to have you. You can find the resources under the resources tab. If you want to contact Mikko or Agile Day, sorry, I have to say it correctly, Agile Day, feel free to do so. And for the rest, we hope to see you at our next event. Keep an eye on our website, on our LinkedIn for when that's going to be. Thank you again, Mikko. Have a very nice day. And everyone for the audience, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.